Okay, we're going to spend a little time in this video hitting some of the high points from your reading assignment and presentation on SMS management. Remember that safety in SMS is not an end goal that is ever final. It is not a destination. It's a journey. We are always watching, always vigilant, always intentional, and always improving. The accountable executive is the person who is ultimately responsible for the successful implementation of SMS and safety culture throughout the organization. A lot of responsibility rests with this accountable executive. The management team, however, has a fundamental responsibility for safety. They really do. Not only because accidents cost a lot of money and rules require safe behavior, but there's a fundamental moral and humanitarian reason, really, for safety. Our society places a high value on life. With that, management's actions, even more than their words, direct the organization. Values embraced by management, they permeate the organization. When setting objectives and goals for the organization, those objectives and those goals should support the safety objective. With the accountable manager, notice the difference between accountability and blame. This is the foundational premise even during investigations as well. Investigations are conducted with the goal of what? Recognizing that management and the organization takes responsibility for systemic failure. When the system is responsible for safety compromises, the responsibility to fix those compromises or those holes in the system rests with the accountable manager. Only that person can change the system. It's important to note that when corrective action is taken as a result of investigation, that is still considered reactive risk management. It is still effective, but it is reactive nonetheless. The industry is moving toward proactive and predictive risk management tools because in aviation there are too few mishaps to derive good safety data. We don't want to wait for a mishap to occur to figure out weaknesses in the system. When managing the SMS, there are a few governmental bodies of authority that we should be aware of and that we should know about. The International Civil Aviation Organization is responsible to ensure the safe and orderly growth of international civil aviation throughout the world. They do this by developing standards and recommended practices. Standards and recommended practices are not regulatory, but they are recommended, and the international community, member states, recognize the need to operate in a harmonized way throughout the world, without giving up, though, their sovereignty. ICAO Annex 19 requires, or it states that the member states' governing authority, which in this case is the FAA, in the case of the United States, the FAA should have a safety management system. So ICAO through Annex 19 says that the FAA should have an SMS, and the FAA does. The SMS for the FAA is continually in development. Annex 19 also states that a member state's governing authority, that is the FAA, should require operators to develop an SMS. And that's what we've been talking about through Title 14, United States Code 5. There is a requirement that the FAA has that the U.S. certificated operators develop and maintain a safety management system. It's not to the level that ICAO is pressing yet, but again, continuous development, continuous improvement, right? Here's a diagram of how the FAA's safety management system is designed to interact with the operator's SMS and work environment. In this, going back to our first week's discussion, we see the balance of protection and production. On the protection side, the goal of the FAA's SMS is public safety, while the goal of the operator's SMS is to control risk, right? The FAA, through the safety assurance component of their SMS, looks at the system design and the operator's SMS to ensure it is comprehensive and functions properly. This does not mean the FAA no longer does surveillance of the operator. It's on this section, the surveillance and the sampling. The FAA ensures the operator's processes are working correctly, that they operate safely, the operator that is, operates safely and in compliance with the rules. However, the responsibility for safety rests squarely with the operator. As the operator does business, they do so while the safety risk management and safety assurance and safety promotion components in their SMS are running and monitoring the system. Altogether, then, production and protection are working together with accountability and oversight to ensure a safe product and service in the public interest.